he didn't give up any home runs. That's what I wanted from him. I said that in the preview. I said, just don't give up any home runs. And he didn't. So he listened to me. So thank you, Marcus. I appreciate that.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. With me, as usual, is my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian, good night for the Yankees.
Pitching wins games in October. Let's keep it rolling.
That's true. They win games in May and they win games in October. Although the offense did actually help. We'll talk about that in a second. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer, or subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like the video, and hit the bell so you're notified when our videos go live. Again, I was told by someone that every time she logs into YouTube, she's told to resubscribe to our channel. So something is going on. Just keep resubscribing, please. Thank you. Coming up on today's show, we're previewing the final matchup between the Yankees and Twins, the pitching matchup. A trade proposal was going around that people were talking about on the interwebs involving the Yankees and the A's. What do we think of it? But first, the Yankees do what they always do. They beat the Twins again.
It's become commonplace over the last 30 years, not over the last not over the last week.
Yeah.
Another great performance, right? Vintage performance. I don't Stroman's, if you watch this game, Stroman's stat line is very deceiving. If you watch how he pitched, because 6 innings, 2 hits, no earned, 2 Ks, 3 walks. It felt like he walked about 15. If you watch the game, right?
Yeah.
The only thing I could say is Stroman tends to get himself in and out of trouble a lot.
Yeah.
And that's going to come back to bite you in certain games.
Sure.
So while I like the way he pitched, he's gotten very meticulous with what pitches he's throwing. The point was made by Kay in the broadcast, actually, how he gets into 0-2 counts really quickly. And then it's always 3-2. It's always 3-2 because he works himself into trouble. And I think that could come back because I think he had 2 bases loaded jams today. He's gotten into a lot of bases loaded jams this season. I think I texted you in the middle of the game too. It feels like he walks 70 guys a game. Yeah. Every guy has a 3-ball count. He gets out of trouble sometimes. It seems like the Twins gets themselves out of trouble, but when he goes up against teams like Baltimore, teams like, that have good offenses that are going to hit him and are going to take advantage of pitches in the strike zone, those games are going to turn different. And you saw it with Baltimore in the last start. So, while it's a good start and you look at the stat line, if this is a game that you didn't get to watch, but you're listening to our show to see how they did, I think Stroman's stat line here is a little deceiving.
Yeah. I mean, he did work himself into a few jams there. There were some moments where I was like, ooh, this could turn because the Twins aren't a bad team. Not that they're ever really a bad team. They're usually a good team and the Yankees just still have their number. But I was just happy that he didn't give up any home runs. That's what I wanted from him. I said that in the preview. I said, just don't give up any home runs. And he didn't. So he listened to me. So thank you, Marcus. I appreciate that.
Judge hit a home run long enough for any of the home runs the Twins didn't hit.
Yeah.
Because, oh dear, did you see that home run? I mean, that ball is still traveling. It went into the 3rd deck in Minnesota. I don't think I've ever seen anyone hit a ball that high there.
Andrew Jones, when he was with the Yankees.
He hit a ball in that park?
In that park in the 3rd deck. And Mark Teixeira, if you're not watching on YouTube, I'll describe the face. It's basically like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone when he puts the aftershave on. But this was Tex in the dugout. I remember that. It was 2010, right? Was that when Jones was on the team? And yeah, he hit one into the 3rd deck and no one could believe it. But yeah, no, Judge, that thing was still going up.
This was 467 feet. That's a crazy distance in today's era too. You simply don't see balls hit that far. And you put a note here, and I think it's worth noting. And speaking of, whatever slump that he was in, or slow start to the year that he was in, I think it's safe to say he's past that.
Oh yeah. I mean, the home run was great. And then he hits 3 doubles. And you're like, oh, yeah, I mean, he's back. You know,
he's not just on a power hitter role, right?
Right.
He's back to Judge form of extra base hits, putting balls in the gap, making solid contact. Did it take a while to get him going? Yeah. But again, like we continued to say, it took Mark Teixeira every year at this point to get going. And this is the point every year when Mark Teixeira slowly started to turn it around mid-May, and then he would have a June for the ages. Right. So, hopefully we're getting that out of Judge. The power numbers still aren't quite there to where some of the years that he's gone crazy at this point in the year. But still, I mean, Judge is off to, now he's off to a really good start. The average is in the 250s now. I'm sure that'll be in the 280s by a month from now. He'll finish the year around 290 where he normally is. He'll probably float around there all summer. That's what Judge does. It's not, some guys just get off to slower starts. And I think to your credit, you mentioned this a few shows ago, it could have a lot to do with the injury that he had in spring training. You missed those at-bats, you missed those games. That could have affected him along his path of getting ready for the season to start. So I'm done with worrying about Judge. I don't know if any of you guys are. I'm done with worrying about it.
I'm done with it. I've been done with it, though, for about a week, more than a week at this point. He's looked so much better. So 3 doubles also, ended up 4 for 4 with a walk. The Yankees had 13 hits. He had 4 of them. So it was a pretty good night.
I think since May too, I saw a stat. Yeah, in May, he's now hitting 378 in the month of May. And he leads the majors with extra base hits in May with 12. Nice. And we're 14 days into May. So, I mean, that's pretty good line that he's on, top of the league type player that he's playing as. I do want to note too, a surprise appearance from a guy that I still hate. I don't forget. I still hold grudges. Carlos Correa. What an unbelievable play he made in the top of the ninth inning.
Oh,
if you watch that's in that game. What an unbelievable play that he made. He still has that old form of. It's really funny when the Mets didn't sign him to that massive contract that they offered him to, and then it fell through. When they didn't sign him, everyone was like, oof, dodged a bullet right there, right? Everyone thought, and then the injury came through with the foot injury, and everyone was convinced the Mets had avoided some colossal contract. Carlos Correa has been fine for the Minnesota. He hasn't quite been the prolific hitter that he was in Houston, but, that he might have been a prolific hitter for other reasons. he still is the prolific fielder, right? His foot looked fine on that play at second base. And with the Mets struggling now, it's like, you got to be careful when you trash big time contracts immediately, as soon as they're signed or as soon as they're not signed. In this case, not signed, because guys turn their careers around. He's a young player. Carlos Correa is looking like a really, really good player, and the Twins look at the team that's laughing at the rest of the league because they have him on a bargain. Yeah. Remember when Yankee fans wanted him for years. Yankee fans wanted him that offseason, and if they would have signed him. Yeah, and that foot injury news came out, I guarantee you everybody in Yankee Nation would have been, oh, what an awful signing. Classic Cashman, making the wrong move, everything. If he was playing third base for the Yankees right now, would you take him over Cabrera? Probably. You probably would. So, salary-wise, that's a whole different conversation. But overall, player-to-player-wise, you'd probably take Correa as your 9-hitter over Cabrera. And that's not taking any fault to Cabrera. That's not putting anything on Cabrera. I'm just saying there is a delineation where we have to not destroy contracts as soon as they happen. You got to let them play out for a few years before you make a grandiose statement. Same with Carlos Rodon.
Oh, wait, do you mean all the people who were saying that Aaron Judge's contract looked awful about 3 weeks ago? Those people?
How about Carlos Rodon?
Yeah.
Everybody thought after year one that contract was horrendous, awful, the worst thing possible. Contract looks pretty good right now, right?
Yeah.
For one of the better pitchers in baseball to be getting $30 million a year. Contract looks pretty good right now. Just got to say, you can't make those grandiose statements on those contracts immediately when they happen in this sport.
Someone who was having a rough time this game, poor Willie Castro, man. I mean, he didn't have a great game Tuesday either in center field. Thought there were 2 outs. He allowed a run to score on a sac fly because he was just jogging in, and the rest of his teammates were like, dude, hello?
I don't know if they were getting Glaber anyway.
I don't think so either, but it was just the whole, you knew he didn't know.
Yeah, the bad look.
You can't do that, not in Major League Baseball.
And the frustration, if you noticed on the third out, he actually wound up catching the third out. He chucked the ball into the stands immediately when he caught it, like a very defiant, chucking it into the stands. It was he had a bad day.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I think the third double would have still been a double. He was just coming in on it, and then it went over his head, and it was just compounded on top of everything else that's been happening to him this series. So it was just bad. Quickly, Luke Weaver, 2 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Caleb Ferguson, I'll admit it, I was a little worried just because of what happened in, was it Tampa? Yeah. I was just like, even with a 4-run lead, because he gave up that grand slam in Tampa, and I was like, but 1, 2, 3 inning, that works for me.
Yankee bullpen once again, and no fail. Shout out to Luke Weaver, coolest cleats in the game, better than Stroman's. The Air Jordan 1 purple cleats, perfect.
So yeah, once again, since 2002, the Yankees are 119-44 against the Twins, including the playoffs. But that's absolutely bonkers, insane.
They're the greatest team of all time. The greatest team of all time.
Yeah. How many of those Twins teams made the playoffs, and the Yankees beat them in the playoffs? And most
of them. All of these years since 2002, how many of these years have the Twins been like awful, like bottom feeders? Not many. They're always a pretty decent team, 80 wins. Their worst years, they're 500. So it's the one team the Twins just cannot beat is the Yankees.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. In segment 2, we're going to talk about a trade proposal that was going around the internet today. Pretty interesting one. But first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. Also, reply to the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday if you want your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday. We do it every week. It's lots of fun. Or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description. You'll get texts from us. You can text us questions. There's a 14-day free trial. And yeah, it's a good time for all. So once again, coming up, an interesting trade proposal. If you're looking for tickets for just about anything, check out the app Game Time. Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and shows near you. The Yankees are home this weekend, and Game Time has deals on tickets right up to moments before the game starts or even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute tickets. So if you arrive at Yankee Stadium at 7:15 for a 7:05 start, you can get tickets. You can actually just walk up to the gate, tap on your phone. Like you might not even have the tickets until you get to the gate, and you can get it that quickly. That's how cool Game Time is. You can also find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for hockey, basketball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app today and get $20 off your first purchase with code LOCKEDONMLB. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Welcome back to Locked On Yankees. Locked On Sports Today is a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the noise. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news. Streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Don't forget, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. You're muted.
Sorry, I like to mute myself when you're in commercial break. It just makes the most sense. Mason Miller, the name familiar to Yankee fans out there? Maybe not, because he is an Oakland Athletic. I don't even know if A's fans know, or A's fan knows that he exists.
They know. They know.
Regardless, 25-year-old, controlled through 2029 reliever, throws really hard, 0.98 ERA, 14 appearances this year so far. He struck out 38 in 18 and a third innings. Pretty good. He's a guy that the Yankees are attached to, linked to as a trade destination. Now, I've been saying this all year, and Yankee fans have, to much chagrin, disagree with me. And it's looked pretty bad on my part for most of the year so far, I'll admit. I am very much a proponent of, I do not see Clay Holmes pitching in big spots, closing games out. I know he has looked amazing this year so far, and I know he has looked tremendous. It's no fault to Clay Holmes, right? But I don't know about you. This is just the way I feel. I don't see Clay Holmes pitching in big games in October. And even if he has the ability to pitch in those big spots, all cases, I hope that he does. You still would benefit from having better other reliever arms. Because what if the small chance? Remember, Clay Holmes hasn't pitched in big games for the Yankees before. He hasn't pitched in big October moments for them in the World Series and the ALCS. He hasn't had that opportunity yet. What happens if you find out that he gets to that point and he has the yips and he can't pitch in those big spots? We've seen it with many relievers before. Having another dominant reliever can't hurt this team. It can't. And from the packages that you're seeing go through, because I know if you're a Yankee fan right now and you're probably your mind is spinning, what are you talking about? Best bullpen in baseball. You don't know what injuries are going to come later this year. The odds of them staying healthy throughout the entire year are very, very, very slim. Could it happen? Sure. What Yankee team do you remember in the last decade that's done that? There's always some injury that comes through, especially with the bullpen. You've already had Jonathan Loaizaga be out for the entire year this year, that you've lost a big arm. And I know what you're also thinking. How could you add an arm to the best bullpen in all of baseball? Why are you saying add to the best part of this team? I'm saying that because, again, when the postseason hits, you don't know what guys you need. What if this guy catches fire in the postseason and he's one of those guys? You thought John Wetland was your guy in the 90s dynasty, didn't you? And no one knew that Mariano Rivera, who was the setup guy, wound up becoming the greatest closer of all time. You just don't know. And before you start killing this trade, let me just read off, and we'll get Stacey's opinion right after. Let me read off the package that it would supposedly take for Mason Miller to be coming over to the Yankees. Apparently, this is all speculation from Bleacher Report. The Athletics would ask for Roderick Arias, Chase Hampton, and Everson Pereira. Those are three of the Yankees' top 5 prospects. So it's not asking for some little package, but it's not the ever so coveted Spencer Jones. Stacey, I got to ask, what are your initial thoughts on this?
It would be good to have Mason Miller, but I'm so terrified that because he's throwing so hard that as soon as he comes over to the Yankees, his arm's going to snap. Because, I mean, he throws really hard. We saw it when the Yankees played the A's a couple of weeks ago. Yankee hitters and the Yankees, know he exists. And they're probably sitting there going, hey, yeah, we could use someone like that. I don't think it's terrible. I saw someone talking about this, not this particular trade, but someone was saying that the Yankees needed to offer, like, there was one trade proposal I saw the other day that had like 6 different guys. And I was like, okay, first of all, the A's are going to be playing in Sacramento in like a minor league field next season. So let's not pretend like the Yankees wouldn't have leverage over that team. Who the hell is going to want to like play there? You know what I mean? Like, there's something going on there where the Yankees probably won't have to give up as much as you think they would because of where the A's are going to be playing for the next few seasons.
I still do think you give up a lot because he is one of the top young relievers. And
but again, not 6.
No. But I do think this trade proposal is legitimate, and I not that it's been offered. Right. I think this is a legitimate value it would take for it. I think that if I saw this trade come across in July, I'd be okay with this. It's 3 of your top pitching prospects, but you're talking about a Chapman level reliever. You are with the velocity he throws with his ERA is at, and people forget. But whether you want to take it from me or not is fine. Take it from how a baseball GM thinks in today's modern day era, especially Brian Cashman. These guys are obsessed with control, and you're controlling this guy till 2029. That's 5 full more baseball seasons.
How about, I don't know, I feel like 3 of the top 5 is too much.
Maybe but that's the point we were making, though.
1 top 10.
We've had these trade conversations before, though.
Yeah.
This is the year to strike. You're this good. Juan Soto could only be here for 1 year. Garrett Cole's contract is expiring now. We don't think that Cole he has an opt-out. He's going to opt out for that 10th to get that 10th year. No one thinks he's going anywhere. Who the heck knows? This is the year that you have to go and strike, and you have to go for it. And if you don't win the World Series this year, you still have this guy under team control at a very cheap salary. Also, the Yankees are going to be looking to add guys that do not have big salaries attached to them. They're not going after big names. They're not going after big price guys. They're going to be going after guys that have no money attached to them. Guess how much money Mason Miller makes? $550,000. That fits right in their cap crunch where they want to be. Again, I know people don't want to, rock the boat in the bullpen and you want to leave it where it is. You don't know who's going to get hurt and you're bound to get some injury later on in the year. And again, I don't want to, poo-poo on Clay Holmes, but we haven't seen him pitch in big spots before. And he kind of came out of nowhere out of Pittsburgh. Yankees liked what they saw. He wound up going into the closer role and pitching really well, but it's not like he's a brought-up closer. It's not like he's one of these generational talents where we know he'll dominate in this spot.
But to that point, Mason Miller's been pitching in Oakland in front of 17 people. So
it doesn't matter. He's still facing major league talent, though.
But Clay Holmes.
No. Clay Holmes is. I understand that, but Mason Miller was one of their top prospects coming up.
Yeah, but you're making it sound like Clay Holmes is automatically going to not do well in the playoffs and Mason Miller will, but you don't know that either.
You're right. You're right. My point to that is, though, that's why, to my point, that's why you add arms. Because in the event that you get to the postseason, and more odds are Mason Miller will not be pitching in the postseason if he pitches for Oakland this year. In the point that you
never know.
They are playing well. But if the Yankees get to the postseason and they don't make this trade, and you realize, Clay Holmes has the yips in the postseason, we could really use another reliever, and then you put in any entered other reliever having a good year for the Yankees, and they're also not pitching well in the postseason, you're gonna think, wow, we really wish we had a guy with dominant stuff like that. That's what you're going to think. So better to have more than less. That's the way I look at this. Again, do I want to give up everything? If any of their other top prospects were involved in this trade, if this was a Spencer Jones type trade, I would say no. I would. I don't think Spencer Jones is worth a reliever. I'd want an elite starter to be in a package for Spencer Jones. For an elite reliever to give up 3 of your top prospects, where I think Chase Hampton's the only one that they really expect huge things out of. I mean, Everson Pereira, you hear good things about, but I don't know where he fits in the. Chase Hampton's the one guy that you hear really good things about. I don't think this is that crazy of a deal, especially at where they are as a franchise right now.
Yeah. I don't think it's that crazy either. I don't know.
You don't seem too enthusiastic.
I mean, how long has Miller been good?
2 years now.
Okay.
I think that's enough of a track record. He had a great year last year. He's been good. And he was one of their top prospects coming up. So it's not like he's some guy that he's not Clay Holmes, where he got called up, caught a little fire, Yankees traded for him, saw something in his sinker, and then he took off, and now he's an awesome reliever. And that's great for Clay Holmes, and guys get discovered different ways. But he was one of their top prospects in their system. So I think there's a little more to that. And to one more point, since the 2009-10 era, since Mo was kind of gone, the Yankees have been in love with the hard-throwing reliever. They love the hard-throwing reliever. You don't really get that out of Clay Holmes, right? You do get that out of this guy. I do think if that's the back end of your rotation, because now you're sliding Ferguson down, now you're sliding all of the guys that have pitched well this year. You're sliding all of them back down into the 7th and 6th inning, which is what they've liked to do. Remember when they had Andrew Miller and they like to slide him down into the 7th inning? You're going to get Canely back, but also think of it this way. You have Holmes, who's a sinker sweeper type guy. Add that in with a guy like Miller, who throws 102 miles an hour. That duel, that you could switch these guys in different games.
True.
And if you're going into a playoff series where a team like, I don't know, the Dodgers or the Orioles, one night doesn't know if they're taking the slow stuff or slowish stuff, sinker, weird movement kind of guy, and the next night they don't know if they're seeing 102 miles an hour, that's a really, really, really good way to have a team not know how to prepare for you. Coming up next, we're going to preview the finale between the Yankees and the Twins. We'll go over the pitching matchup for you guys. Early start to later on. It's a 1 o'clock, I believe, in Minnesota, right? So
1 o'clock here, 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock Minnesota.
Yeah.
I'm sure the ballpark could be packed in Minneapolis on a Thursday. I don't understand these times at all, but I'll complain into the blank wall that will listen to me after the show. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. I'll give you one that I really like and one that I'm nervous to bet, but I'll give it to you anyway. I like the Rangers to win Game 6. Now, I'm scared to say that because I don't want to put it into existence. I think this team was given a little bit of humble pie in losing Game 4 or losing Game 5. I think it kind of shakes them back. They go to Carolina. They've proven they can win there before. Let's see them, get through, get inspired by the Knicks taking their pivotal Game 5 and close out this series. And I think the Knicks are in a really good spot going into Indiana, if you like that too. It's a big New York weekend we're going into. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams. You can use quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and many, many more. If you're into the NBA, betting those same-game props with, Jalen Brunson over, Josh Hart rebounds, Hartenstein rebounds. I mean, you can get loads and loads and loads of more money, higher odds. Really great with FanDuel, especially in game. What you got to do is you got to visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and you can shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7. We're covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows. They're covering every league. You can find Locked On Sports Today now, available on the free Fire TV channels app. And remember, on the SXM app, you can catch every single pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast this year. That's the SXM app. You just got to download it and search the word Yankees. Stacey, 1:00 Eastern. I'm going to complain about this every day of the season for the rest of the year. And you're going to have to sit here and deal with it, unfortunately. Why are we playing games at 1:00 on a Thursday? I get it's a travel day. Sure.
That's probably
players
what it is.
Players have dealt with playing games on Thursday night and traveling for a Friday night game forever. Literally, how long have we been flying to different cities in baseball? Since the 50s? I mean, we have been doing this for 70 years nearly of dealing with this. I'm confident to say, right? Teams have been flying since 1954, right? So 70 years we have been flying from city to city, playing a Thursday night game, going into a Friday night game, and now all of a sudden the players need more rest. I mean, am I crazy to suggest that?
Well, no. But,
we're flying back to the Bronx, by the way.
I know.
How far is the flight from Minnesota to the Bronx? An hour and a half?
No, it's longer than that.
2 hours?
It's longer than that. It's almost halfway across the country.
All right, that's like a 2-hour flight, 2.5-hour flight.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not talking crazy distances.
No, but they're playing starting this week, 19 out of 20 days. So, they just need those extra hours of rest, apparently.
I don't get it. It's a 7:05 start against the White Sox on Friday night. I don't get it. Like, it's just weird to me. They're playing, and you complain about crowd attendance. That was a big thing for Manfred, right? The crowd attendance going down. And when I add the crowd attendance, dude, playing games at noon on a Wednesday is not helping crowd attendance. At 1:10 p.m. or noon on a Thursday, there not going to be a lot of people from Minneapolis at this game. Not a lot of people have off on a Thursday at noon in May. That's just not. It makes no sense to me. Well, if you took the trip out there, or if you're a Minnesota Twins fan listening to a Yankee podcast that is free at noon later on today, get your tickets. I'm sure you can get in for really cheap.
Use Game Time.
Use Game Time. Exactly. See, we're up to the gate, and I'm sure they're pretty cheap too. Clarke Schmidt, you could see him go. He's 4-1 at 2.95. See if he can get into the 7th inning for a 4th straight appearance. He'll go against Joe Ryan, which is the most casual American name I think I've ever heard of than Dan Smith. He's 2-2 at a 3-2-1. Again, that's a 1:10 p.m. start.
Yep. It should be interesting. Like I said, I didn't even realize it was a 1:00 start. And then I looked at the schedule and thought, oh, okay, interesting. I saw something on Twitter that I wanted to tell everyone because I thought it was interesting. I'll hold up my phone so you know that I'm looking. Okay. Luke Weaver's last 10 games, 17 and 1/3 innings, 5 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 23 strikeouts.
It's what they're looking for.
That'll play.
And you can tell too the way that they mold their relievers coming up through the system. This is what they're looking for. This is what they want. They want high strikeout rates. And when you're bringing guys into bad situations around baseball and you're bringing them into bases loaded jams, runners in second and third, 1 out, you need strikeouts.
Yeah.
You want to rely on strikeouts. And in today's era where guys strike out a lot, teams don't punish guys for striking out, having big time relievers who get a lot of strikeouts, it's a good formula to go against those guys.
Yep. Of all people, Luke Weaver. Pretty awesome though. I love when guys like that have performances like that, and hopefully he'll keep it up. And he's also extremely funny on the Yankees TikToks. He's very dry and has really wacky answers to a lot of their questions. And I just like him so much. I like when players have personalities, and he has one. So
well, now they've actually won 18 of their first 21 series, which is really great for the way they've played this so far. But also to throw on top of all that, you're getting a series against Chicago, the White Sox coming into town over the weekend. That should be another. I mean, I should expect them to win that series also. The White Sox are terrible. So you can start really racking up wins at a point. These wins still count at the end of the season.
Yeah. They're almost at 30 wins.
Which is
May,
big.
It's May 16th. And again, I'm going to say this every day till he comes back. Without Garrett Cole. They're doing this without Garrett Cole. All the other guys are stepping up.
Yep.
Like we said earlier, Judge is back. He's fine. He's Aaron Judge again. Other guys are contributing as well. You know, Stanton had, he had a home run the other night. He hit the ball again on Wednesday night, and he's not just hitting home runs. He's also hitting singles. He's hitting doubles. So things are happening, and it's good. And
imagine how good this rotation can get when Garrett Cole leads.
Yeah. You know, I mean, the team isn't firing on all cylinders yet. And they're at almost 30 wins here. And I just want to send a message out to the masses, to the insiders, to the people who are just watching us for the first time. Baseball is all about ebbs and flows. Right now, things are going well, but things might kind of go down a little bit, but then they're going to go back. You got to ride the roller coaster. We've been watching this baseball game for years. Like, you should know how a season goes. And if they do lose a game, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It'll be fine. Everything will be fine.
Unless it's a game like that Friday night game in Milwaukee. I'm still not over that.
Yeah, no, I won't ever be over that one. No. That one, no. But every other one, yes. You should be okay with every other one. Okay. One more time, you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description under our YouTube videos. There's a 14-day free trial. You get text from us. You can text us questions for Fan Mail Friday. We do it every week. It's a lot of fun. You basically produce the show. You send us questions, we answer them, and that's how the show goes. It's great. Or you can leave your questions under the pinned comment below the YouTube videos to get your questions answered. You can join the Insiders Club to get top priority, though. I mean, we'll still answer your questions on YouTube. And, the YouTube audience, I'm telling you, you're doing a great job with the questions. And
you're pumping it up.
Yep, you're competing with the insiders there. So nice job on that. And remember, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gonsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll see you guys tomorrow.